Have you ever stopped to think about how much you underestimate your own strength? Not because of pride or arrogance, but because of pain. You walked through so many difficulties, survived so silently and endured so faithfully that, at some point, you stopped seeing the weight of what was being formed in you. It's as if fatigue has become your metric of strength, as if waiting time is the only measure of progress. You looked around and thought, nothing has changed, maybe nothing is really happening inside me. But that's not true. What is being formed in you is not small. What is growing in silence has not died. It created deep roots. I want you to understand something with absolute clarity. You have no idea what you carry, but I know. And the time is coming when you too will see clearly. This season, which seemed invisible to the eyes of the world, was actually fertile ground. Your obedience, even without being noticed by others, did not go unnoticed by me. Their resignations, their choices made in silence, their strength demonstrated when no one was watching, all of this was recorded. Every act of faith, even trembling with fear, was received as a sacred offering. I know how difficult it was to stand firm when it would have been easier to give up. I know how faithful you were to show integrity even when your emotions screamed at you to let go of everything. This kind of faithfulness is not celebrated by the world, but it attracts all the attention in heaven. I was by your side every moment, counting every step, following every tear. And none of it was in vain. You need to know that the version of you that is emerging now was not built on applause. It was shaped by fire. A fire that didn't burn you, but purified you. He stripped away the illusions you held onto for safety and revealed who you really are when there is no audience, when there is no immediate reward. It is in this place of silence and anonymity that identities are formed. The moments that seemed like they were going to destroy you were actually construction tools. The battles that almost broke you only strengthened the foundation that supports your faith. And those periods of silence, so long that they almost convinced you that I had stopped talking, were the moments when I guided you the most. I was not absent, I was preparing you. And now, you are on the other side of these processes, without realizing the depth of the person you have become. Have you ever asked me, what's next? What's next? Did I miss something? And today I tell you, you didn't lose anything. You were on time the whole time, even when the path seemed wrong. You were in alignment, even when you didn't feel like you were. Even in the rooms that felt like prisons, you were growing. Now, the time has come to reveal what I placed in you from the beginning. What you carry was not created by your effort, but by my design. I saw the weight you would bear before you were even tested by it. I saw the impact you would make before anyone knew your name. I knew the depth of your calling before any pain you would experience. And each moment was a step in his formation, not toward something common, but toward something eternal. Your dreams are not far-fetched. Your purpose is not small. You are called to live boldly, to lead a life that does not fit into limited molds. You were designed for deep water, not shallow, safe places. And now, it's not about discovering something new. It's about releasing what's already inside you. I'm not preparing something far away. I have already prepared you for what is coming. What lies ahead is not about finding who you are, it's about finally recognizing who you've become all this time. You won't need to fake confidence, as you will carry clarity. You won't need to look for an ID, as you'll be walking with it. You won't need to chase opportunities, because they will start to come to you, not through effort, but through alignment. So listen. The waiting time was not in vain. The delays were not negative. Silence was not absence. And his perceived invisibility was actually my protection. I hid you not to deprive you, but to refine you, prepare you, and activate you. You are not empty, you are not trapped, nor disqualified. You are filled with something powerful, and you were designed for this exact moment in history. Now, take a deep breath and let these words settle in your soul. Everything you went through wasn't a break, it was progress. What appeared to be his weakness was, in fact, the breeding ground for the next season of his life. You no longer need to carry pain as proof of who you are. Bear the fruits of it, because they are the living testimony of what you have overcome. Have you ever stopped to realize how what seemed like an unbearable burden was actually soil where deeper roots could grow? What once seemed like stagnation was actually preparation. And while you thought you were trapped, I was shaping you. The silence you feared so much was not empty. It was the space needed for his true essence to emerge. You are not late. It's not out of place. The time you live in is not accidental. You were strategically positioned, and everything you faced was part of a carefully orchestrated journey. It's easy to think that the delays were a reflection of unworthiness, but they were actually a sign of the meticulous care I always took for you. Waiting was the environment where patience became your strength, where what was once just potential began to transform into something tangible. I see you, even when you can't see yourself. I look beyond the masks you wear to keep functioning, beyond the routines you perform to keep things in order. I see the weight you carry in silence, the expectations you've placed on your own shoulders. I see the moments when you question yourself, the days when faith seems more fragile than strong. And yet, I keep choosing you. You think you need to be ready, complete, strong to be used. But what I seek is not perfection, it's delivery. It's not flawless performance, it's a willing heart. I've never been impressed by what can be done in public. What attracts me most is fidelity in the occult, the yes you give when no one is watching, your decision to continue believing when everything around you seems to suggest otherwise. I know you've asked yourself, am I still called? Have I missed my moment? Has God changed his mind about me? And I tell you clearly, no. I never took back the call I placed on your life. I have never been disappointed with your journey. I was never irritated by his pace. I knew exactly who you were, what you would be like, and what you would face before you even took your first breath of life. And yet, I chose you. Knowing every moment of doubt, every stumble, every failed attempt, I remained committed to the work I started in you. The truth is, what you carry cannot be defined by what others see. It cannot be measured by the world's metrics. What is in you has been planted in such a deep place that no external approval can validate it, and no rejection can nullify it. What you carry is sacred, untouchable, eternal. You have tried so hard to prove that you are enough, that you are capable, that you deserve it. But what you haven't realized yet is that you already are. You are already worthy. It's already been called. It's already been chosen. Not because you achieved something, but because I raised you that way. And now it's time to stop fighting to be accepted and start living like someone who has already been accepted. Acceptance depends not on what you do, but on who you are. What about the pain you carry? This pain that doesn't seem to dissipate, even after so long? I didn't ignore her. I saw her, recognized her, and allowed her to do her work. Not because I wanted to hurt you, but because I knew what it would do to you. The pain was not the end, it was the beginning. She made space for you to develop empathy, compassion, wisdom. She taught you to listen with your heart, to see beyond appearances, to connect with others in a way that only those who know pain can do. You think your scars are a sign of weakness, but I see in them a story of victory. They are silent witnesses to what you have endured and overcome. They speak of a heart that was broken but not destroyed, of a soul that was pressed but not crushed, of a mind that was challenged but not defeated. Each scar tells a story of redemption, of overcoming, of strength. Now, the time has come to leave behind the need to understand everything. Not all questions need immediate answers. Not all paths need to be explained. There are things that will only make sense later, when you look back and realize how perfectly each piece fit together. For now, trust. Release the control. Allow yourself to be led. What lies ahead of you depends not on your understanding, but on your willingness to move forward, one step at a time. You are not called to live an ordinary life. What is being built in you is bigger than you imagine. And what's coming isn't just about you, it's about all those who will be impacted by what you carry. Your story, your struggles, your victories, all of this will be used in ways you cannot yet understand. But I see. I know. And now is the time for you to start believing too. You're ready, even if you don't feel that way. And when you finally see what I've always known about you, everything will change. Your questions will turn into convictions. Your fears will dissolve in the face of clarity. And what seemed like just survival will become a living testament to what it means to thrive amid the storms. You've come this far with a strength that you didn't even know you possessed. But now it's time to see that this strength wasn't built for you to just endure. It was created to move you forward. You are not here just to survive. You are here to live with purpose, with joy, with intensity. The life I have planned for you is not a series of endless burdens, but a journey full of meaning and fulfillment. And yes, I know you still have doubts. I know you question whether you are prepared, whether you are truly worthy, whether what lies ahead is something you can sustain. But let me remind you, what I began in you, I myself will complete. It is not your effort that guarantees the result, but my grace that sustains the process. It's not about how perfect you can be, but about how much you are willing to trust. Have you been carrying around a list of what if? In your heart. What if I fail? What if I don't make it? What if I'm not enough? But I want you to let go of those fears now. What I put inside you depends not on your limited capabilities, but on my unlimited strength. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take the next step. Your failures, real or perceived, don't scare me. I see them as part of learning, as tools that shape who you are becoming. What you consider to be flaws, I see as polishing. Nothing was wasted. No mistake, no tears, no failed attempt was in vain. Every detail was used to build something inside you that cannot be shaken. I know you better than you know yourself. I know the words you didn't say, the dreams you kept, the prayers you murmured through your tears. And still, I keep calling you. Not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. And that willingness, even in the midst of pain and confusion, is all I need to continue the work I started. Now is the time to look forward, not with fear or hesitation, but with confidence. What is in front of you is not something you need to achieve alone. I am with you every step of the way. I am paving the paths you don't yet see, opening doors you didn't even know existed, connecting you to people and opportunities that are aligned with the purpose I have placed in your life. Yes, the process was long. Yes, there were times when you thought you couldn't handle it. But look at you now. You are here. You didn't just survive, you have been transformed. What seemed like the end was, in fact, a new beginning. Each battle made you stronger. Every silence taught you to hear my voice. Each loss showed you what really matters. And now, all of this is culminating into something that is much bigger than you imagine. You have been called to something eternal, something that transcends the here and now. The impact on your life goes far beyond what you can see. But it's not about carrying this weight alone. I never wanted you to do that. I want you to remember that as you walk, I carry the burden with you. My strength is enough to sustain you. My grace is enough to fill you. And as you take the next step, I want you to know that you are exactly where you need to be. Don't worry about running. Don't worry about speeding up what can only be revealed at the right time. What I have prepared for you cannot be advanced by haste, nor delayed by hesitation. Everything is in perfect sync, even when it seems out of place. Now is the time for you to start seeing yourself as I have always seen you. No longer as someone struggling to be accepted, but as someone who has already been accepted. No longer as someone trying to prove their worth, but as someone who is already invaluable. No longer as someone waiting for permission to move forward, but as someone already authorized to live fully. I am calling you to a new level of trust, a new level of surrender, a new level of freedom. This is the time to let go of fears, guilt, doubts. This is the time to embrace what you carry, to walk with courage, to live with purpose. You are not alone. I am with you, and always have been. And now, as you look at all that is to come, I want you to remember that it is not about what you can do, but about what I have already done. It's not about what you need to prove, but about what I've already proven in you. The journey continues, and the best is yet to come. You've been carrying this expectation, this nagging question in your heart. Am I ready? Is it my time? I want you to know that the timing is aligning perfectly with what I have prepared in you. What seemed like a delay was, in fact, an act of love. I never left you parked. I kept you in time. And now it's time for you to start seeing what I've known all along. You carry something the world needs. The days of doubt, of confusion, the moments when you thought you had lost your way, none of it was wasted. These were days of polishing, moments in which I removed what could not support what is to come. Because what comes is not small. What comes is something that demands depth, authenticity, and courage. And all of this is already in you, even if you haven't realized it yet. Do you remember the nights you cried in silence, those conversations you had with me without finding the right words? I heard each one. I held every tear. I saw the invisible battle that no one around you understood. And I want you to know, you were never alone. Every fight, every victory, every choice that seemed small was part of a story much bigger than you can imagine now. You think you are waiting for something great, but the truth is that what is about to happen is not something you will seek. It is something that is already being drawn to you. It's not about chasing opportunities. It's about aligning with purpose. And that starts when you decide to stop fighting what I'm doing and start embracing who you are becoming. The comparisons you made to yourself, the standards you thought you needed to meet, were not the measures I used. I never compared you. I never used your mistakes as justification to withdraw my love or my plan for your life. What I see is your heart. The heart that still chooses to believe, even when it's easier to doubt. The heart that remains faithful, even when everything around it seems to fall apart. And now, it is time for you to release everything that has been holding back your true identity. The need to please, the fear of failure, the weight of others' approval, all of these are not part of what I designed for you. I called you to be free, to live fully. This freedom doesn't mean you won't have challenges, but it does mean those challenges won't define who you are. You are much more than what happened to you. You are much more than the mistakes you made or the failures you faced. You are what I created, strong, resilient, full of purpose. And what you carry is too precious to be limited by fear or insecurity. It's time for you to start walking like someone who knows who you are, like someone who recognizes the value of what you carry. The preparation time was long, but necessary. The doors that didn't open, the opportunities you thought you missed, weren't mistakes, they were protections. And now, you will start to see the right doors opening, the ones that were reserved for you from the beginning. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to prove anything. What is yours is coming to you at the right time, at the right pace, in the right way. I'm not asking you to be perfect. I don't expect you to have all the answers. I just want your yes, your willing heart, your faith that continues even when everything seems uncertain. Because it is in this space, between what you understand and what you believe, that the miracle happens. It is in this place of surrender that you will see what I have always seen in you. What's to come will be unlike anything you expected. Not because it's bigger or more impressive, but because it will be deeply aligned with who you really are. You won't need to mold yourself to fit this next chapter. It has already been shaped for you. The right people, the right times, the right opportunities, all of these are already lining up. You just need to keep walking in faith. And remember, I didn't choose you because you were the strongest, the most capable, or the most prepared. I chose you because you are willing. And that willingness, that faith that doesn't give up, that courage that persists, is all I need to transform your story into something that will impact other lives. You have no idea what you're carrying, but you're about to find out. And when that happens, you will look back and see that every step, every battle, every moment of waiting, was a necessary part of a journey that was being written perfectly. Now breathe, trust, and move on. What you are about to experience is the manifestation of the purpose I planted in you from the beginning. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what is to come. I see you, even in the moments when you think no one else notices. I see her internal struggle to keep going, her attempt to hide her vulnerability while facing challenges that often seem too big to bear. But I want you to know, you are not alone, you never have been. Every battle you faced was accompanied by my presence. Even when the silence seemed unbearable, even when you questioned whether you were still on the right path, I was there by your side, taking care of every detail. What you are carrying is not common. It is something precious, unique, something only you can manifest in the world. And although the journey to this point has been long and at times painful, it was necessary. The fire you faced did not come to destroy you, but to refine you. He burned away false perceptions, removed expectations that didn't come from me, and revealed what is genuine, what is eternal, what is strong enough to sustain what is to come. I know you've asked yourself, am I enough? Do I have what it takes to fulfill the purpose God has placed in me? Let me answer this question clearly. Yes, you are enough. Not because you have to be perfect or because you never make mistakes, but because what is in you was planted by me. It is my strength in you that makes the difference. It is my grace that sustains you, not your perfection. Now, I want you to start looking at yourself in a different way. You are not someone trying to find a purpose. You are someone living in a purpose that has already been established. You are not adrift, trying to fit together loose pieces. Every step you took, even those that seemed disorganized, was part of a bigger plan. And now, those pieces are coming together. You're about to see the whole picture. What lies ahead will not be without challenges, but it will be different because you will be different. You will not face the next battles as someone trying to prove a point. You will face them as someone who already knows who you are. This is the difference between living trying to achieve something and living as someone who has already achieved it. The weight you felt, the pressure to be something, do something, prove something, all of this starts to fall apart when you understand that what I want from you is simple. I want you. Complete, true, with all its imperfections, and with the willingness to continue walking by my side. You have been waiting for answers, for signs, for confirmations. And now is the time to realize that the answer is within you. I've already put everything you need. What is needed is not more preparation, it is action. It's the next step, no matter how small it seems. Every movement in faith attracts that which is aligned with what you carry. Every act of obedience, even those that seem insignificant, creates an impact far greater than you can imagine. Doors that were previously closed will now begin to open. But I want you to know, you don't need to force them. What is coming to you will be by alignment, not by effort. It won't be because you ran after it, but because you were where I needed you to be, with your heart in the right position. This is not about merit, it's about grace. And that's what will make all the difference. The people around you may not understand what is going on inside you. They may not see the internal process you went through. But don't worry about that. What I have done in you, and what I am about to manifest through you, will speak louder than any explanation. The most profound transformations are those that come from the inside out. And that's exactly what's happening. You don't need to worry about the how. This has already been resolved. Your role now is to continue moving forward. Trust the time, trust the process, trust me. I didn't bring you here to leave you. I didn't start a work in you to abandon you halfway. What I do, I complete. What I promise, I fulfill. And what I plan, I accomplish. So, take a deep breath. Let go of what you can't control. Free yourself from the need to understand every detail. Walk with the certainty that what lies ahead will be greater than you expected, because it will be completely aligned with who you were created to be. Do not look back with regret, nor to the future with fear. Stay present. Here now. This is the moment when you begin to see, to feel, to experience the manifestation of what I always knew you carried. You have no idea what is about to emerge, but you will soon see. And when that happens, you will realize that every tear, every weight, every fight, was part of a beautiful and powerful story that is still being written. I see you. I believe in you. And I am with you, now and forever. You've come this far, supported by a force that seemed small, but was actually immense. Because it wasn't just his strength. It was my strength in you, the one that carried you when your own steps seemed not to be enough. And that strength didn't just bring you here, it is preparing you for what lies ahead. I want you to know, what comes now is not a burden, it is an accomplishment. It is not something you will have to endure, but something you are shaped to embrace. Every moment of waiting, every prayer not answered the way you expected, every silence that seemed eternal, all of this was creating in you an ability to listen, to discern, to trust in a deeper way. You weren't being ignored, you were being refined. And this refinement was necessary because what you carry is too precious to be treated superficially. Remember, I see what you don't see. I see the fruits that are still forming. I see the seeds that were planted in the most difficult seasons. I see how the roots grew stronger while you waited, while you prayed, while you fought. And now, it's time to start seeing the harvest. Not a sudden, overwhelming harvest, but one that reflects the depth of what has been built. Because what is eternal grows solidly, not quickly. You think you need to be 100% ready to move forward, but that's not true. Breakthrough doesn't happen because you're perfect. It happens because you are willing. It's not about having everything planned or everything resolved. It's about trusting that I will be with you every step of the way. The clarity you want won't come until you start walking. It will come as you move, as you act in faith. I know there are still wounds on you, marks from the battles you faced. And I want to tell you that these wounds do not disqualify you, they qualify you. Because they tell a story of overcoming, of resilience, of faith. Don't try to hide them, don't be ashamed of them. They are part of your journey, and through them others will find hope. And yes, you still wonder, why did it take so long? Why did it hurt so much? I want you to know that there was never any waste. Every moment had a purpose. Every pain, every loss, every delay was used to build something that couldn't be created any other way. I know it's hard to see this now, but in time you will see that what seemed like the end was, in fact, the beginning of something much bigger. Now, I want you to release the weight you have been carrying. The weight of guilt, the weight of doubt, the weight of the need to prove something. Let it all go. You no longer need to live trying to achieve something that is already yours. You have already been chosen, you have already been accepted, you have already been loved. There is nothing more you need to do to deserve this. Just live as someone who knows they are deeply loved and fully supported. The next steps will be different because you are different. What once paralyzed you will now be the basis for your movement. What once seemed like a burden will now be a testimony of strength. What was once just survival will now be lived as purpose. And when you begin to walk in this new understanding, you will notice that things will begin to change around you. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. Your perspective, your confidence, your identity, all of this will be reflected in the opportunities that arise, the connections that form, the fruits that begin to appear. So don't worry anymore about what was or what you think you lost. What is yours cannot be lost. What was planned for you is already in motion. And now is the time to walk, not as someone who is still trying, but as someone who has already won. Because victory is not in what you achieve, it's in what you become. I see you. I know you. I believe in you. And what I started in you, I will carry through to the end. Trust. Follow. Alive. And when you do, you will realize that everything you were carrying, the pain, the waiting, the questions, was preparing you for this very moment. Now it's time to take a deep breath and understand that you are no longer fighting to survive. You are being called to live fully, with a conviction that goes beyond what your eyes can see. Everything that seemed like an endless wait, a meaningless battle, now begins to align. Not because the world around you has changed, but because inside you something has transformed. You are no longer the same person who started this journey. What once seemed like the weight of frustrated expectations now reveals itself as the fertile field where patience was cultivated. What you saw as an empty silence, you now recognize as the space needed for your faith to grow. This faith that does not depend on visible results, but that grows stronger even in uncertainty. And this faith, built on solid ground, is the foundation of everything that is to come. You may still feel remnants of doubt, of that insistent echo that tries to convince you that you are not capable, that what you carry is not big enough, that what you faced was too much to bear. But I want you to hear this clearly. These voices are not coming from me. I did not create you to live in doubt, but in trust. I did not call you to be defined by your flaws, but by the purpose I placed in you. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not out of place. Every step you took, even when it seemed small or disoriented, was part of a bigger plan. You were exactly where you needed to be so that the seeds you planted could take root. Now those roots begin to bear fruit, and the world around you will begin to see what I have always seen in you. What about the doors that closed? I want you to understand that these were not rejections, they were protections. I never let anything or anyone take you off the path I prepared for you. There were times when you thought you were being blocked, but you are actually being redirected. Because what I have planned for you is greater than the expectations you had for yourself. It's bigger than you can imagine. Now you begin to understand that your strength is not in not being afraid, but in continuing even when you are afraid. That your identity is not in what others see, but in what I have already declared about you. That your value is not in what you do, but in who you are. And with this understanding, you will be able to walk in a freedom you have never experienced before. You no longer need to carry the burden of comparing yourself, of trying to prove something, of seeking validation. What is coming to you does not depend on external recognition, but on the authenticity of what you carry within yourself. You don't need to chase. The right things will come to you at the right time. And that time is much closer than you think. The journey so far has been intense, and I know there were times when you thought about giving up. But you didn't give up. Even when your strength was at its limit, you chose to continue. And this choice, this perseverance, was noticed. Not for the world, perhaps, but for heaven. Every step, every tear, every act of faith, even the smallest ones, were recorded. And now, you will see that nothing was in vain. The challenges will not disappear completely, but they will no longer carry the same weight. Because now you understand that you don't face them alone. I am with you, as I always have been. And what once seemed impossible will now be just another step on the journey you are destined to complete. Not because you are perfect, but because you are faithful. And this loyalty, even in small things, is what moves mountains. So, trust. Keep moving forward, even if the steps seem small. Every move toward purpose attracts more clarity, more strength, more favor. You are not alone. You never were. And what is about to happen in your life will be living proof that I never stopped working, I never stopped believing in you, I never gave up on the plan I wrote before you were even born. You're ready, even if you don't feel that way. What you carry is bigger than you can imagine, and the world is about to see it. Walk with courage, with faith, with the certainty that the best is yet to come. What you hoped for, what you prayed for, what you dreamed of, all of this was being prepared. And now is the time to live what was promised.